We are working on projects today. I'm making some bone broth. Well, I'm gonna eat some bone broth. And Cyril is up top working on these little beauties. He finished varnishing them and now he is getting ready to attach them with me to the deck. Good job.
Thank you.
In other news, Jordan just went on a little land excursion. And I'm finishing up some stuff today with Cyril, and then tonight I'm gonna pack, and then tomorrow I'm gonna go back and be with the kids. Blake has a surgery coming up, so I'm gonna be going back to spend a little time with Dave and the kids, and hopefully Blake's little surgery goes well. Then I'm coming back to the boat. So anyway, that's the new developments for today. So we're also today going to go to West Marine and get all of the lines for the Traveler and the main sheet. And then we're gonna be ready to sail. Oh, also, the sails from Precision are here. Woo! So we're gonna go pick those up. I don't think we're gonna install them today. It's a little breezy, a little cold out. So we're gonna wait a bit. But anyway, that's what's happening. I will see you guys in a little bit. Decisions have been made. Guess what? Exciting news. We're at the mailbox and I think the mainsail from Precision is here. So let's go in and get it. Ooh, what's that?
You can see the blue sticking out over there.
All right. I believe in you.
Don't know if the box is gonna make it.
Oh my gosh.
So close.
All right. That's not that big. They folded it so nice. I believe in you. Woo! It's like Christmas! We have made it back to the boat, and it is a beautiful sunset. I'm packing to go see Blake tomorrow, and Cyril's pouring epoxy. Look at that sunset, and look at that man at work.
The bread and butter of a fiberglass boat, huh?
Well, you guys, believe it or not, with this sunset here, it is past 9 o'clock. So, I'm gonna finish packing up, and I'm gonna get a little shut-eye because I'm getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So Cyril's putting in the last little bit of epoxy that is thickened for these this deck hardware, and then we're gonna hang out a little bit and then go to sleep. All right, you guys, I love you so much, and I will see you tomorrow.
I'm removing a few coils from the Genoa furler to have less line sitting inside here. So I'm planning on removing 4 coils. I've removed 1 so far.
Okay. All right.
I know there's probably an easier way, but this is how I'm doing it.
Well, we like to take the route less traveled. No, I'm saying that wrong. Anyway, stay tuned. See how it goes.
Big old fair leads that we're going to use along with those 6-inch bolts to go through the bulwark to create the best line of attack towards the rope clutches and clear out the walkway, because right now this is dangerous.
Muy peligroso. All right, what are you doing now?
Putting some cleats on the boat, finally. This will be officially the first cleat mounted on this boat.
Woo!
You can see over here where the previous cleat was, and it kind of cocked at an angle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna kind of go with the same angle.
Great.
Plop it right there.
All right. Sounds just that simple, huh?
Yeah, cut to the point where I already done it.
Like that? Other side though, unless it's backwards.
So the best way to drill into this without splitting the wood is reverse drill. Once you got the head in, then you can go forward drill.
Okay.
There we go, down one for that. Just precariously holding all the washers necessary for the job over the water's edge.
That's fun.
Nice.
Okay.
Why so many washers?
I'm using that to figure out what length I need to cut the bolt.
For the cap?
So the cap nut, yeah.
Got it.
Okay. After removing the fish holder, we have access to the bottom of the track. So the bolts have to be removed in order to put the plane the surface down flat so we can prep it for the new track, and we're also going to have to be putting backing plates and nuts down here again. But in order to get that piece off entirely, this handrail has to come down. I've pulled out all the plugs and cracked the screws. Now I just need to remove it.
We got some breakfast cooking. We've got a squirrel up top. So here is the Traveler. And these are the bolts that we just got at West Marine. And they go through quite nicely. Loving this. Are we gonna need to chop this?
We already chopped it.
We already chopped it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a beautiful day for boat work, babes. So, squirrel, what you got there?
So these bolts we got from McMaster. It's the longest 3/8 bolt, 6 inches.
Which is not custom. The longest, like, not custom order. So this is a $500 option instead of the $2,000 option.
This is the $175 option versus having any sort of custom. And this is 316 stainless. It's got a hex drive instead of a flat drive. So it's a little bit different, but we're making do. What we need to do now is make sure you can access the bottom and put a washer, lock washer, and a nut at the bottom, and put the trim back up. So on the inside we need to drill up towards the far ends, because you can see how much the deck curves, to have enough access to fasten from the inside.
Sounds good. So let's go take a look down below and show everyone what you're talking about. And I really apologize if there's wind noise, you guys. I've got the muff on. Let's see if it's doing its job. Okay, so here we go. You can see here. All right, so it looks like we need to recess a little bit
from
there.
This one. That one's good. This one, I say we need a marker and we can write it down. So basically, washer, lock washer, nut. I need about, say about 3/4 of an inch protruding out the bottom. So, like in this situation, I can just take calipers, use the pointy end of it, and
Tool tip of the day.
like this one, I need to drill that to about that depth so I can get the rest on. Okay, so we're gonna mix up some epoxy with colloidal silica, which is gonna be used on the last 3 bolt holes on either side, which you will then drill and tap. All the forces on the end of the track are gonna be horizontal forces, not vertical forces, so this is gonna be perfectly fine.
So we got West Systems 105 resin and 206 slow hardener.
Yeah, because we're working in direct sunlight today. This is why I'm wearing a mouthpiece.
Everything's fine. You're totally safe if you're holding the camera.
You're immune.
Poodle, why aren't we covering your wolf snuff? Okay.
Modern day Martha, but not like the Handmaid's Tale kind.
Do we have to really worry about the pies that you're making us? You making us shit pies?
No, I'm just fucking hiding shivs in there. I'm making you escape pies.
Did you get a paper towel? Did you tape the bottom part?
It's not drilled through.
Okay. I love how I think of all of these things like, as he's putting the epoxy in the hole, I'm like, is this a through hole that's going directly onto my laptop below? The answer is no. So some of you might know this if you've been watching for a little while, or if you're boat people. If you have a squishy deck that has gotten soft because there's leaks and then the core starts to rot, you can drill holes inside of it and then put thick epoxy in it, and then it just kind of creeps into all of those crevices and starts to fill it, and can be kind of a temporary fix or maybe a permanent fix depending on how bad it is. for a soft deck, but what happened was we had drilled holes for the stanchion bases. So as we drilled holes to fill the soft deck, it had like creeped down and like gotten into my cupboard in my galley and had ruined my bright pink Bialetti that I'd gotten in Italy. It was very, very sad. It was a sad day. I used it for a while, but it wasn't a pretty sight. So I was just thinking about my laptop down there.
Okay, so hello.
Hello, we are going to put some washers and bolts and nuts through this up here to attach the Traveler. And Cyril's going to clean up the holes right now. He's got all sorts of butterfly, what. This one looks pretty serious. What is that called?
Forstner bit.
Forstner bit.
I call this a butterfly. Is that what this is called?
It's I like to make a lot of mess, but
Well, between the three of us, we know the name for one proper name.
It's a bit.
It's a bit.
That one looks better. Making it look like we did this in one day with this outfit.
Fun fact, folks, Aubrey's been wearing that outfit for weeks now. It's the new uniform of the season.
you're extremely productive.
Sailing hobo.
There we go.
I feel like the Mad Hatter.
You look like.
So we have taped this off behind me that you can no longer see. Here we go.
Yeah.
Tape this off. We're gonna Sikaflex here. We're gonna put this little guy down, screw it, bolt it, nut it, and then Bob's your uncle. You have a Traveler, and then we're sailing. I feel like less could be more in this situation.
Yeah.
When Sikaflex is opened, the cracking of the seal is immediately when it gets in my hair. All my hair, my eyebrow hair, my nose hair, my head hair, knuckle hair if I had any, ear hair. It's just like a magnet to me. So Cyril's working the squirty gun right behind me.
Cheeto, not the time.
And I was just pointing out that, you know what? Sometimes with sealant, less is actually more. So he's doing a pretty good job back here, and we will see as soon as we squish down this track. So, dun dun dun, Cheeto's gonna get in it. Cheeto, doesn't that smell like chocolate?
No.
Did you put your nose in it?
No chocolate latte.
You ready? I'm in the hole.
I'm going down.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna make any of this too tight until we have all the other through bolts in.
Okay, it's looking pretty good. Almost.
You got it?
I don't even see nothing that's moving. Oh, now there's now I got it. It's pretty tight.
Okay.
Go to starboard.
That feels pretty good.
Yep, now skip over one and go to port. Those aren't going anywhere.
No.
Okay, next one. Right,
I'm going
maybe
somewhere.
10.
To bed after.
Nice.
Okay.
So, excuse the noise, water maker running in the background. Now that we have the new track mounted, we have a few bolts protruding. I'm going to take the 4-inch grinder, knock those ends off, and return the headliner as per normal. Safety first, 4-inch grinder. It is never enjoyable working with a grinder above your head or cutting stainless, especially 3/8 bolts. So now that I've cleaned up all the metal shavings that have been thrown all over the pilot house, the result is a resounding flush finish. Next step, grab the trim piece, headliner, it's behind the door, and get some brass brads, and I'm gonna slowly get this guy back into position. So the trim piece has a screw that has gone through over here, which holds a fishing rod holder over here, and on the opposite side is for a handrail. So I'm gonna put the screws in to locate it, and then I've got these little brass brads and my finishing hammer, and we'll get this done nicely. brass brads. They're more or less located where the previous ones were. I did mark on the beam over here where the best location is. So now, having securely fastened the trim back, I can remove the screws, and then I have these pieces of trim that need to be secured on the sides like that. Looking factory fresh. Handrail in and secured. Fuss, fuss, fuss. And we have a rod holder. Now, last step is to install fishing rod. Just like all projects on a boat, I feel like that headliner, well, this piece of trim has been down for what feels like 2 months. Yes, it could have been done quicker, but it takes a lot of thought going through the process before you actually start breaking ground. Yeah, so now it's done and it's starting to look factory fresh again. Next day, the epoxy is set nicely. I have already drilled and seated these, and I have the bolts protruding at the bottom. I'm gonna have to mark off where we're gonna cut these bolts to the right length to fit an acorn nut at the bottom. So I'm gonna drill this one out and install this pad eye. Just like that. Now I'll go below and I will put washers on and mark the length to what I need to cut those bolts to have acorn nuts. From here you can see each of the new pieces of deck hardware is soft mounted. This is now what the headliner looks like. Not so pretty. Next step will be to mark just at the top of this threaded section to know that I can cut that much off so a acorn nut can go on in its place. Now we are back to having mini skylights. So you can see all the hardware is marked where I need to make a cut. I have the blocks with the bolts and butyl tape all set up and ready. I'm going to start off by installing all the wooden blocks, and then I'll move to the primary pad eye and the clutches. Finished product. All looking good. So this Traveler is a 4-to-1. So it takes quite a bit of line, it's quite a long run. So I worked out the length to get back, plus get about 3 wraps around the winch, works at about 50 feet. And we're gonna be using 8mm line, so a trip to West Marine. Back from West Marine, it's a little bit windy, weather isn't cooperating. This is the line we've found. Got green and red, port and starboard. This is New England rope Duraline 8mm. I think this 100 feet in total worked out about $240. It is pretty steep, but this is a one-time purchase, not messing around with this again. This loop over here is actually the end. So what I'll do is I'll tie a bowline onto that. And of course when the camera's on is when I don't know how to tie a bowline anymore. So for the boom sheeting, we're going with a 5-to-1. So basically there's going to be 3 shivs on the boom, and that will be run back to the winch through a clutch in the cockpit. So we have a bowline tied to the becket. Now the way you go is we go up center closest to the bow, then we go down, there we go closest to stern, there we go forward, back down, and there we go. Woo! That is a real powerful gearing there. So then running it back to the cockpit, we've got this one block on the deck here, and it needs to go over this one deck organizer. If it doesn't work out, I can get a longer shackle and then it should clear no problem. I cannot explain how relieved I am, and I know Aubrey, as soon as I send you this message and pictures, you're gonna be super stoked. Overall, I think we shocked ourselves to how well this went together. As these are taut right now, when this one's tensioned, they all don't touch the deck, but I will still put a stainless steel riser as a non-chafe point over this midsection, because this is where the deck curves a lot. Clutches are all working perfectly. The angle to get to the winch is real easy on the lines, and that just all works perfectly. This 5-to-1, I think it's a little bit ridiculous, but it is super strong. I feel like I can sheet this in with serious amount of wind just by hand. The line that we have on here right now is not the line that we're gonna use. It's just what I'm setting up as a temporary solution, also to get measurements, because we need to figure out when the boom goes all the way out to the side, is there enough line to make it back to the winch and get 3 wraps around it.